Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another stream. Game week 10 deadline stream, and today we're starting off a bit earlier than usual. I woke up this morning and I got up pretty early for my standards, and I was like, you know what? There's a lot to talk about, there'll be a lot of questions. Let's get into it. So, hope everyone is well. Let me know if you're in chat, where you're watching from. We have a lot to cover, like I said, and I'm looking forward to it as usual. So, show yourself in chat before it's too late, and I'll try to get back to as many questions as possible. Let's start off with where I'm at. I suppose, of course, we've had a rough start to the season, but I think we might be coming to grips finally with where I am and what my strategy is. Of course, 2.2 million in the world, which is not ideal, let's be real, but I think we're on the way up, and I'm actually quite happy with where my team is. I feel like particularly my strikers have underperformed in recent weeks, and if you take that into consideration, if they start performing, we look like we could be doing some damage going forward. Let me pop up chat real quick. Where is chat? Sweet, there you go. Like I said, get your coffee in, relax. We're here for a while. Love from Nepal, man. Good to see you. How do I say that? Prajwal. Kunga says captain question mark. For me, it looks like it's going to be on Erling Haaland. I know it's so boring, but that is if I keep him. Right now, I think the plan is to keep Erling Haaland. I'm so tempted to bring in Darwin Núñez and Mohamed Salah for Tyler Dibbling, but I just don't know yet, and that's why I started a bit earlier. I need more time to think. Baki says, HI, good to see you. FPL Jason says, start Johnson or Rodgers. For me, it's Johnson. It's a home game for Spurs. It just makes sense. There will be space in behind. Rodgers is not bad. It's just I think you can assume you'd get more minutes with Johnson. Reese Clay says, get a green arrow this week. Yeah, I think so. I think the team looks good for this week. Rukaf says, new earrings. No, not this morning. Just this time. Maybe you're noticing, you know what I mean? You're starting to see the little detail in FPL Choice streams. Watching from Yemen, says Abbott. Good stuff. That is absolutely mental. So, again, I really like my team. If I look at it on paper, double City defense. If you watch my videos during the week, you would know my opinions on them, and I'm still quite happy to run with the double City defense. I think generally they are a good defense, and that goes to show in the clean sheet odds by the bookies. But let's see if we can get on from Bournemouth. Again, I'm not too hopeful, but let's see. Again, Brighton for Trent, we see them play midweek. I don't know what to make of it. Brighton are probably going to score, but I think we need to see a bit more from Trent on an attacking standpoint. We've seen him do quite well on the clean sheets aspect, which we probably weren't expecting. Good to see Sally. She says good morning. Rujan says start McNeil or João Pedro or Robinson. I think I'd risk starting McNeil. I don't know if João Pedro will feature because he's usually quite slow to come back after an injury. FPL Jason says watching from Malaysia, good stuff. Solanke to Raul. Yeah, here's one thing. I wouldn't be getting rid of Solanke so early. For me, it is a bit early. I just feel like, sure, his underlying numbers haven't been great, but I always feel like if he gets a chance, it is a high quality chance. Make it out what you will, but Spurs are a team that do create chances, and just none of them have fallen to Solanke yet. So I think maybe if we get to that Ipswich fixture and it's still kind of looking like he's getting nothing consistently, fair enough. I do think it's probably a game week or two a bit early though. TC says your accent is insane. Yeah, it's funny. Like when you listen or when you see me, you don't expect me to sound like this, and it's actually been a common feature since I started this content thing. And at the start, people were saying they couldn't understand me, so I've had to tone it down a small bit. This is me speaking with a small bit of a filter so you can understand me. And I apologise for anyone that can't understand me. From Sydney says Nathan. Mojo says hello, good morning. Nice and early for the Lottie, I suppose. It obviously depends where you're from. It actually could be quite late if you're in Asia, I want to say. So yeah. Solanke play CDM. Yeah, that is an art of that I do kind of follow. Tyrone in chat, good morning. Do you think Son will start, says Jens? I would be very surprised if Son didn't start. Let's put it that way. I can't guarantee you he's going to start, but providing he doesn't pick up a knock between now and the fixture on Sunday, he's going to start. Son or Palmer, game week 10 and 11 only. Wildcard 12. Palmer could do some damage in this United fixture. But I think the Ipswich fixture with Son... See, the thing with that, right, is he can almost guarantee higher minutes for Palmer, regardless, because Son's only coming back from an injury. So it probably is the safe option, and it is Palmer, but unless you're confident and a bit higher on Son's minutes than I am, and providing he gets 80 minutes in that Ipswich fixture, and he's potentially even a captaincy option. So I probably would go Palmer. That's a safe bet. It's a bit boring, but just gonna be honest with you. If you had Salah, would you captain him over Haaland? I think so, yeah. I would captain Salah over Haaland. I just think the bonus points aspect. After listening to the likes of Baker, if you haven't already, listened to FPL Therapy. He spoke very, very well, and he was explaining the bonus points metric. And it just looks so good for Salah. From what I've seen from Salah this season, I can't say he's been phenomenal. Like, he's not killing his defenders and being ruthless. But what we have seen is he's so consistent. It doesn't matter. He doesn't even need to be on the top of his game to play well, because he's just that good. I think if we do see a Salah like we've seen in previous seasons, man, I'll have no choice but to bring him in sooner or later. I just feel like this rest for Haaland versus Bournemouth away is nice, and I think I'm happy enough to keep the armband on him and play Rodgers for another week versus Tottenham. Zubar says, hi, if you didn't want to captain Haaland, would you choose either Foden, Mbeumo or Wissa? Yeah, so I've been a sucker for this in the last few weeks. I may have encouraged a friend or two to pick up Phil Foden, and as you know, it hasn't turned out quite too well. It's always a difficult one. For me, I would again default to captaincy on Foden out of those three options. Let's be real, I feel like City you probably expect to get the most chances with the likes of Savinho now out. It makes sense to go with a Foden, I would say. But then again, we've not seen it from Foden this season, so I think you'd have to make your own educated guess. I mean, you are guessing because you just don't know what to expect from Foden anymore. What do you think of Trent Alexander-Arnold as an alternative captaincy shout? Says Sean V. So if you had asked me this last year, I'd captain Trent 3 times last year. 3 blanks, I'd let you know. But I don't know, Brighton are a good Brighton are a good attacking team, so I don't love it. Like, again, I'm not trying to put you off, but Salah and Haaland, Palmer all getting rests midweek. You know what I mean? Franok says, hi Chai, good morning. FPL Pedro says, Eze, Martinelli and Haaland to Salah, Saka and Jackson for free. I mean, on paper, they're lovely moves. You probably do have to get rid of Eze and Martinelli anyway, so yeah, I do like that. 5 a.m. here in New York, crazy. Waking up at 5 a.m. or being awake at 5 a.m. to listen to, for example, me talk about FPL is crazy work. Fair play. The dedication to the cause, I love it. Anish in here, my channel member, says, hey Chai, good morning. Would you sell Solanke for Jimenez? No, I wouldn't. Patrick says, would you go to Haaland, Salah out for Salah, Kuna to enable Calvert-Lewin and Flecken? See, I'm in a situation where that's the decision I have to make. Do I want to get rid of Haaland, bring in the likes of Mo Salah and a Darwin Núñez / Kuna? I just don't know. Like, I'm more than happy to just play Rodgers and Haaland, and the rule of thumb is, if in doubt, roll it out. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Anish says, is Captain Palmer a good option this week, or is Man United looking a bit better? I would say it's definitely a good captaincy shout. I think it is a small bit underrated. I just think, in comparison to the other big boys, Haaland and Salah, it's not for me just yet. If that fixture was a small bit nicer, maybe at home versus United, I'd be all for it for sure. Be honest, you caused the Setu cyber attack. I wish it was that talented. Chewy FPL, as usual, in chat, he says, how's it going, Chai? I'm all good. You know what? I've been sleeping great. It's not a feature that I'm used to, so I'm actually able to think about what I'm gonna say and display it in the best manner for the audience that I can. So it's great to be back and starting the stream early. It's always a good sign. Would you switch Foden for Salah for free? Absolutely, 100%. Sharif says, good morning, Choi. Will we do the Darwin move? That Darwin move embodies exactly what FPL Choi is. Just the non-optimal, always going with whatever he wants to do. And I just don't think it's the play this week. I would rather the 3 free transfers next week and Haaland is still in the side, I think. See, what really switches my thought process on doing that move is, again, like I said on Twitter, I don't know if anyone saw, but I have to play one of Rodgers or Dibbling on a weekly basis. Next week, I don't want to be playing Dibbling. Let's put it that way. Next week, I also don't want to be playing Rodgers versus Liverpool. Right? If I bring in the likes of a Darwin and a Salah, I don't need to play Dibbling, obviously, because he'll be out of the team. And I could mix and match Rodgers in the likes of 3 game weeks with a Darwin if it comes to it. And I really like the flexibility and the squad depth in comparison to having to play Rodgers or Dibbling, who I don't really fancy for the next 3. So that it's less about Salah and Haaland and more so the upgrade I get from a Rodgers and a Dibbling to potentially a Kuna, Calvert-Lewin or Darwin. I've no doubt over the next 3 Haaland and Salah are going to do well. Again, the swing could be quite big. I'm not sure which way it will go, but these are the little things you can't really control. Whereas the Rodgers and Dibbling move, I know in my mind Darwin / Kuna / DCL, whoever it is a better pick than either of those 2. By the way, congratulations, Choi, for the success in influencing Tom Hadley to buy Garnacho. As I said, United assets will be dangerous when you buy him in FPL. Yeah, no, I think Tom is one of the first ones that was actually quite backing the Garnacho move. I actually said the Garnacho move in I think, about game week 7. This is before, of course, he hauled and he's been playing and being electric. I do think this Viceroy internship or interimship is good for Garnacho. I think Garnacho in general is fairly favoured. He had quite a good relationship from what I understand from seeing on social media, etc. with Ten Hag. And of course Ten Hag is the one that brought in Viceroy. So I do think it is a good look. I'm not too worried about Garnacho's minutes. He is easily, if not one of their best players this season so far. Again, not like United have been electric or anything, but he's probably been the standout so far and he's getting chances consistently. So can completely understand why Tom has gone towards that move, and it's great to see other managers that I consider good managers going towards that direction. MJ says, good evening, Choi. Hey, Choi. Good evening from Japan. That's a crazy one. I think you're one of my first viewers from Japan. If anyone else is watching from Japan, welcome. I would love to go there. I mean, from what I've heard, it is phenomenal. Let us know. Kunga says, is Captain Foden an option? I mean, it is always an option. I think we've seen against Brentford. Of course, last season he was the best player in the league, but we've seen against Brentford last season, everyone put the armband on Haaland, and then what happened? Foden ended up with a hat-trick. I mean, City are the type of team that will generate chances for more players than just Haaland, and it's just about catching them on the right time. I think if you told me Foden had 90 minutes, I would be way more comfortable putting the armband on him. Not to say that he won't get 90 minutes, it's just the unsurety with his form and everything going on. It's just a bit of an unknown for me. Chewy FPL says, great to hear, bro. Suffering with a bit of a flu bug myself. Yeah, man, everyone seems to be in bits. I don't know if it's just here in Ireland or in general, but there's so many people that are sick. By the way, let me change this deadline timer before people start giving out again. The last thing you want is people missing the deadline because of me. How long do we have until the deadline? An hour 22. So that's 800 and... Is that right? No, that's not right. Shit, my maths is being tested on stream. 51. How do I... Okay, that will do. Apologies. Sell Haaland. I don't know if it's for me. By the way, is the audio okay? I don't know if I need to adjust the mic a small bit. Let me know. JC says, Choi, my man, would you take out Haaland for Salah for a -4 and captain Watkins? Help me out, son. I wouldn't be captain Watkins personally. And I probably wouldn't be taking a -4 for Salah either. Like, I can do it for free and I'm still a bit wary about doing it. So that tells you where I'm coming from with that move. But I don't think it's a bad move, don't get me wrong. If I brought in Salah, I'd be more inclined to captain him for sure though. Would you captain, or would you suggest McNeil plus Solanke to Kuna and Garnacho? I don't think so. I still think it's too early to get rid of Solanke. Palmer for Salah, is it worth it? I don't think so. You're going to want Palmer back eventually. I think it's in game week 12. Troy, last season you seemed more daring with your captaincy options compared to this year so far. Any reason behind that? That's a good question, champions collide. And you know what? It's actually one that I've thought about. And you're not wrong. So, from my own perspective, like, I've been very not safe this season with the captain armband, but I think if you look at how the fixtures were relayed this season, at the start of the season, I hit 3 captaincies on the head with Salah, I'm fairly sure. Then it looked like Haaland was going to go on this crazy run after 5 games, after scoring 10 goals. And then I brought him in. And the 3 fixtures for Haaland were absolutely phenomenal. And I look at my team now, and in comparison to last season, I always had a player against the bottom 3 that I could easily throw the armband on. For example, if Mbeumo was playing, let's just say, Leicester at home this week, I would be putting the armband on him for sure. And I think you'll see that when we get to game week 12 when Solanke plays against Ipswich. Those are the type of fixtures I target as a bit of a... This is just the type of manager I am. I don't just do it to be different. I think that's important to note because, you know, it's easy to get that conception that, like, I'm the differential guy just for the sake of it, but it's not the case. I always put it on who I think genuinely is the best captaincy option on a weekly basis. And this week, in my current team, is easily Erling Haaland. So, you're right, I have been a bit safer, I want to say, compared to last season, but it really does come down to how the fixtures have played out and how my team is looking. So, yeah, not understanding your obsession with Havertz, easily replaceable with Darwin, to be fair. Can even get Jackson instead of him, considering the red hat form. What are you considering, or what are you seeing in Kai Havertz? Another good question. So, it's actually less about Kai Havertz and more so other holes I see in my team. I'm much more comfortable playing Havertz with Newcastle away. Newcastle have been fairly poor. Rather than, like, if I'm going to make a move, it will be for Salah and bringing in like the likes of a Darwin. And the reason for that, like I said, is due to Tyler Dibbling and Rodgers not being fancied by myself. So yeah, deadline timer not fixed. I'll fix it in a second. Hold on. Morning Choice says, so good morning. Not gonna lie, this is my favourite pre-deadline streams. The vibes are so chill, reminding me FPL is a game of fun and not a war. Yeah, you know what? Like, I know I speak about it quite a bit. Last season, of course, we know what happened and it was hectic. It's good to be back down to earth and, you know, not at such a high rank. I think when you're in that area of incredible ranks so early on, you get carried away and you genuinely think you're the shit. And, like, let's be real, I'm just a normal manager and you're seeing that this season, which is important. I don't think I'm any better than anyone else, and the proof is in the pudding. I'm 2.2 million where a lot of other great managers are at, so I'm just happy to be here, man. Akash says, how are you doing, Sean? I'm great, man. Would you captain Palmer while having Haaland? I don't think so, man. It don't really make sense. Audio's perfect, says MJ. I'm going to scroll down a small bit in the questions. I don't want to be too behind in chat. Arsenal striker is always a good option. You're right. I agree. I have Kai Havertz in my team. I like him. Alright, let's have a look at Havertz's fixtures. Like, Havertz always gets chances. I think we seen in that Liverpool game, you know, he hit the post, was it? And then tapped it in and it was given as a foul. Like, it's the little things. So, some really good numbers. Don't get me wrong, the fixtures are not great, but they do eventually end up turning, and he's just not a priority sell in my team. of course, 3 away fixtures in the next 4. Not ideal, and United at home, but again, it doesn't really worry me. For the price, 8.1 million, I can get what you're saying, but there's only one other man that I'm really considering for that price point, and it is Alexander Isak. And of course, they play Arsenal this week, so and he's also come off with a bit of a knock midweek, so it doesn't really make sense to get rid of him just yet. But I do think Isak will find a place back in my team at some point. I'm not sure when though. Salah or Haaland captain? If I had Salah, I'd put the armband on him. Oh, let's talk about captaincy while I'm tempted for NDA captain punt versus that leaky Southampton defence. Yeah, it's mad. Like, I'm in a similar mind. It's actually nothing to do with Haaland or Salah. I'm more than happy to just leave that play out. But I want Darwin, like. Ryan Johnson says, can you do the score predictions? We can, just not yet. We'll do it in about an hour's time if that's cool, if you're sticking around. Let me show the transfers that I was looking at, because I think they look so good on paper, man. And you might think I'm tripping balls, but I mean, that's what it's about. You're not supposed to agree with me. Mo Salah. Like, I just think those moves right there look so good, man. Like, so good. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the ratio here. Okay, that looks a bit better. So we'll be playing, of course, a 3-5-2, or a 3-4-3. Sorry, I don't know why I said 3-5-2. I'm benching Rodgers. So Ederson, Mikalenko, Trent, Lewis, Salah, Garnacho, Palmer, and Mbeumo. Benching Rodgers, starting Havertz, Solanke, and Darwin. Like, I really like that. I really, really like it. Of course, we would still have money in the bank with 1.3. And that would leave potentially moving on a Havertz next week to Alexander Isak versus, I think, his first, which is different. So, yeah, it's more so, again, like I said, less about the Salah versus Haaland captaincy, because I think over next 3 they're both going to do well. And the fact that I can just play around with funds a bit better, have money in the bank. Like, if I don't do that move this week, I will have 1.3 in the, or I will have more than 1.3 in the bank and 3 free transfers next week. But I could just hop on now. Like, I don't know what I'm waiting for. Sad says, hey Chai, what do you think about Gabriel out for Trent? I think Gabriel will blank anyway and Trent can really smash this week. I would say if you have nothing else to do, go for it. I still think Trent is a good option. I think over the season, I mean, he'll always come up with something. It's a matter of time until he gets like attacking returns, in my opinion. Rank at the end of the season is all that matters, absolutely. But I also enjoy the ride. Don't get me wrong. I was one of those managers that completely got carried away last season with my rank, but rightfully so. Who would you say are the most must-haves in FPL right now? Is Palmer top? Right now, I think the best option in the game for the value is probably Palmer. Right now, what you're seeing is like, there's an interesting debate from I was in a space last night on Twitter with Fran. I was just listening, and they were talking about the best FPL asset in the game, and they were saying that the likes of Haaland and Salah, those two are still a small bit superior than Palmer. I just don't think it's a fair comparison. Like, the price discrepancy from a Palmer to Salah is a decent gap, and never mind the difference in price between Palmer and Haaland. And a good point that was made was the team strength aspect. Like, I think if you put Palmer in the likes of a City team, obviously everyone's going to have him, everyone and their mam. But then again, I thought about it, and I was like, a good analogy of this, what we're seeing from Palmer in Chelsea, is the equivalent of what we've seen from Harry Kane at Spurs for the last 7 years or whatever. Like, he's playing in a top 4-ish team, and he's the main man, and that's what you want from FPL asset. It doesn't matter if that team is the best in the league. So I actually don't mind Palmer being at Chelsea. I actually think, that makes his price around the 10 million bracket, Whereas if he played for City, he would be easily 12.5. So we're actually having an asset who's a small bit undervalued from FPL just because he plays for Chelsea, but is always going to pick up the same, if not better, numbers. Whereas if he played for City, I think he would have less influence, and of course he wouldn't be on penalties. So definitely an interesting debate, and I think for me it is Palmer because of the price. Why is everyone hungover? I hope you had a good Halloween, by the way. I forgot to mention it. If you could do me a favour before we carry on answering any questions, if you could hit that like button, much appreciated. As usual, it really does get us out there, and we're slowly but surely growing. If you watch my video, you know we're on for 10k at some point. I don't know when it's going to come. I've no doubt we're going to get there though, and I really appreciate you guys joining my journey. We're here for the long run, of course. Oscar says, morning Choi. Who would you bench? Ina, Lewis, Ait-Nouri. I kind of want to bench Lewis. I would be starting Lewis for sure, Oscar. That's just my opinion. And 1974 says, the Jester of John's Park. Love the stream. Thank you, the Jester of John's Park. I appreciate it. Did you actually drop Haaland, or is this your testing the waters? I'm testing the waters. Let me get back to my actual team for anyone that's just joining us. This is my actual team. I've not actually made any move. Chewy FPL says 100% agreed on Palmer. Has so many routes to points for Chelsea, which is why I had him since game week 1. Alright, nice little flex from you, Chewy FPL. I know you stuck the armband on him at some point as well, so. Lithium says, bro, please reply to my comment. Let me find your comment. Mikalenko, Konate, Ait-Nouri. Start 2, please. That's difficult. I can understand. You know what? I think I would be happy playing any 2 of the 3. There's no real standouts. I think I would play Konate and Mikalenko. Again, it's probably a bit boring, but when I look at my own team, I'm starting Trent and Mikalenko. Of course, Konate doesn't have the attacking threat of a Trent, but I think still I'm more than happy to play Mikalenko over the likes of a Ait-Nouri. Profil says, hey Chai, good morning. MJ says, Shai, what would you do with McNeil and 0.1 in the bank and 1 free transfer? I think if you have nothing else to do, move him on. I think if you have something to do, don't worry about it. Just risk playing him. Will you continue to hold Mbeumo when the fixtures turn? He's a shit run of fixtures soon. Issue being the value tied up in him. Not sure if he'll be worth selling at that point. Yeah, he's another one that I had a look at. Let's bring him up real quick. Brian Mbeumo, what an absolute monster he's been, by the way. We've seen last season, before he got injured, he was on this same type of run. Do the fixtures, here's the question, do the fixtures actually get bad for Mbeumo? Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester, okay, class fixtures. Villa, away, not ideal. Newcastle at home, which, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if you got something. Chelsea away, not bad, realistically. Like, I don't think Chelsea are a standout good defence. Forest at home and Brighton away. Then, of course, Arsenal at home. So, I don't think the fixtures are too bad from 10 to 18. From 19 onwards, okay, sure. Then we can talk. But he's not going to be a priority sell. And it's another reason, of course, is that he's the main man for Brentford. Like, he's always going to be the main man for Brentford as well, especially with Tony gone now. So I think he could easily be a hold for the season. Again, I don't know how much he is now. How much is he? 7 point. He's nearly 8 million. So there will be a point in time, I think, whenever we wildcard, we'll definitely be getting rid. But again, that will rely heavily on options that become. For example, we could get a nice little 6.5 option, or someone around that price that starts turning on the jets. And I think once the likes of someone like that comes into the thought process, a lot more people would be inclined to get rid of him. By the way, Garnacho, how did he not get a return versus West Ham, man? I really don't understand. Hit the bar, had 2 good chances, and United just were unfortunate, I think. But yeah, it's interesting to see people bring in Garnacho this week. I mean, I hope he keeps returning. Thoughts on Ruben Amorim? So, you know, I would be lying if I told you I watch a lot of sporting. From what I hear, all I can do is hear and see Victor Gyökeres scoring on a weekly basis, and it looks like if it would be mad to see Gyökeres come in for United at some point. I think during the summer because he's a release clause. I can't see it happening in January, but from what I hear, United are gonna have to change system. Dallo, right wing back, which he seems to be playing a bit of a role in the last few weeks for Ten Hag. Whether or not he can play that role, I'm unsure. But I think it is good for United. I think they need a change. For me, what's surprising is that they didn't get rid of him maybe 2 weeks ago when we had that international break. But I suppose better late than never, isn't that what they say? But yeah, maybe we can see Rasmus Haaland be absolutely transformed with Van Nistelrooy and Amaran coming in. I just want to know what system they're going to play and how they're going to line up. I still fancy Garnacho. Whether or not he plays on the left or right, and the same goes for Rashford, I'm unsure. But I'm not too worried about Garnacho. Connor says, you worried about Garnacho's role from Game Week 12 when Amaran comes in? He plays up front. Haaland, Fernandes, and either Rashford or Garnacho will be the third. Yeah, so this is what I was just about to get on to. For me, United's best player has probably been Garnacho this season. Even off the bench, he comes on and does well. So, I don't know. For me right now, I'm happy to hold Garnacho. Again, it's not coming to my thoughts exactly too much. And for me, Rashford has been stinky this season. Again, maybe it's a bit biased because I own Garnacho, but out of the two, easily Garnacho has been the better player. Rashford sucks. He's almost got 4 managers sacked. That's a bit harsh, but I think on his day, Rashford is some player. We've just not seen his day in a while. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter, by the way. Actually, before we scroll on Twitter, let's get to this Rob T graphic as usual. So, what you're seeing in front of you is, of course, the goals and clean sheet odds updated this morning by Rob T as usual. Liverpool expected to get the most goals this week with 2.55, and that's what really wants me to bring in the likes of a Mo Salah. And even he knows putting Darwin Núñez in the image, what's up. So, I'm very tempted. I can't lie. But of course, closely following is Manchester City away at Bournemouth. Erling Haaland projected the highest for a singular player this week on the goals tally, booking odds, sorry. And then Spurs 2.10, which I have as Solanke. So when I look at it like that, I have Solanke, I have Haaland. I don't have Salah or Darwin, but I do have 1.7 with Kai Havertz. So I don't think it looks too bad. From a clean sheet aspect, of course, City's second highest with 34. I have double City defence. Liverpool, Trent, of course, 36%, the highest this week. It's interesting that's after changing. I think with the injury of Manuel Akanji and what we see in midweek with the head injury of Guardiola, probably alters the clean sheet odds. I know City were the highest at 38% before that midweek fixture. HI, I play Harwood Bellis or Vandenberg. Choi, should I start Rodgers over McNeil? Yes, I think so, unfortunately. McNeil isn't bad this week, but there should be goals in this Spurs game. Alright, where are we? Let's get back to scrolling on the feed. Let's see what people are saying. Spiros, okay, my boy. He's locked in again this week. AI team, rolling the free transfer and captaincy on Haaland. So this is actually very similar to what I'm doing. Interesting that he's not bringing in any of the Liverpool assets. Maybe the AI is in the mud, but Choi is also in the mud, so I can't be saying much. Yeah, very good team though. So let me bring up FPL team real quick. FPL team, and let me put in my ID. So if I roll this week, it's more important for me what I do next week. So this is the team if I roll. And here's the team next week. So next week it looks absolutely banging. Of course I have Tyler Dibbling versus Wolves. Again, that's part of my issue. I don't know if I want to play him. But what moves do I make? So the armband automatically goes back on Erling Haaland again, which is a bit boring. Who I could potentially put it on is the likes of a Slanky, which is a bit appetizing for me. I can't lie. Um, Again, it really depends on what his minutes look like. People are a bit skeptical about Richarlison. I'm not too worried. I'm not worried at all, actually. But I feel like if Son gets back in this team, I'm not a very critical fan. I understand players can not be confident, and I don't rip into him because the manager is playing these players, and the player I'm talking about is Werner. And for me to criticize a Premier League manager who's playing someone consistently in and out, I don't think is right. And I do think Werner, on his day, even though his finishing does let him down, he does provide a bit of a different role for Spurs in terms of pressing and getting in behind, giving fullbacks a nightmare. Like, Rico Lewis was a small bit on eggshells versus Timo Werner, just purely by the pace of Werner. And I do think if Son comes back in the team, the chance creation for the likes of Solanke is much better in terms of Solanke potentially getting assists or Solanke even getting chances. So hopefully, and I think it's a higher probability that Sonny will be back for this Villa game. Again, so what would I do with 3 free transfers and 1.3 million in the bank with this team? Again, there's no obvious standouts. So what sticks out for me though is bringing in Alexander Isak, Forest away. That leaves me with 1.1 million in the bank. And then other than that, like, it doesn't really make sense to do anything else. And then of course we have Isak versus West Ham at home. This is where the team looks a bit shaky. Double City defense versus Spurs at home, not ideal. Solanke versus City, Haaland versus Tottenham, of course. Rodgers versus Crystal Palace at home. For me, the captaincy this week is probably Cole Palmer. Bit obvious, I know, but this is where a lot of people will be wildcarding if they haven't already, assuming they don't have Cole Palmer. It's gonna be interesting to see how people get to a Palmer, whether that's downgrading, which you won't be doing this week, and Mo Salah. A lot of people will have Salah, but they won't have Haaland versus Spurs. So I think Haaland is due a few goals versus Tottenham. It pains me to say that as a fan, but it's been a while since Haaland has done acting crazy versus Spurs. Potential move: Dibbling to Salah and Haaland to Raul. Yeah, that's not bad. Again, I'm in a similar boat. It's just I don't like it too much. It's actually quite interesting. So when you look at my moves over the last few weeks, in game week 8 we done Son in and Garnacho in, and that got us like 16 plus points. Last week we done Cole Palmer in and Aiton Orient, and that got us like another 16 points. This week I think the move for me is to not do anything. I could easily see Haaland doing very well this week. Like, Spurs not stable at the moment. I don't know if stable is the right word. Think with midweek fixtures, there will be games where we're struggling a small bit more. For me, what's very interesting is what the crack is with Kulusevski, Madison, and Pap Sarr. For me, I feel like Sarr gives us a bit more balance. When you play Madison and Kulusevski, what you're almost doing is playing 2 10s, but Madison is playing a 6 role, really deep on the ball. And I just don't think that's Madison's game. I think he's actually been fairly disappointing from a fan perspective, not an FPL asset. Whereas Kulusevski has looked night and day, and he's been easily our best player this season. So I would like to see Pat Matasar and Kulusevski, and maybe Basuma or Bentancur. For me, it just gives us a bit more balance and control. I know Madison, when he has the ball, is very controlling, but Sarr has the legs, and he's way more legs than Madison. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we play against Villa. Of course, we could really hurt Villa if Madison's on the ball, playing long balls, but Villa are quite energetic, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Sarr. Chaz says, "H, I hope you're well, man. Foden to Salah captain or Palmer? We'll keep Haaland." I think the play is Salah, and then he can go down to a Palmer. Whereas if you go Palmer, it's not as easy to get up to a Salah. Again, though, that's that's a big swing. It's hard for me to answer that. More than choice says Eddie R. Sorry if you've already spoke about this a lot, but toss on Haaland and Semenyo to Kuna and Salah. Bench Rogers, super split on it. Again, that will be. This is a big week. A lot of people are going towards the route of Salah. I can completely understand that, especially when it looks like Salah's not going away with Egypt in the international break. It comes back to Southampton. And I think somewhere in our minds we've seen Southampton be a lovely fixture for Liverpool. So I can understand the move 100%. I just think a rested Haaland versus Bournemouth, I won't be surprised to see something. And I'm a believer of if in doubt, roll it out. Eddie says these moves were free. Let's do a poll. Let's run a poll real quick. Where is my chat? I hate when it does this, man. Oh, balls. I didn't mean to do that. Let me fix that real quick. Let's do a captaincy poll. Mohamed Salah. I'm going to assume it's... Okay, no, we'll add Palmer. Salah... For me, if I'm guessing, it's going to be like 45% Salah, 35% Haaland, and the rest on Palmer. And I think what we're seeing also is a lot of analytic guys are going towards Salah. Again, I don't have an issue with it. It's for a good reason. If in doubt, roll it out. I'm telling you, man. If you just stick by that motto, you'll be more patient and you'll make less mistakes. Hearing all that does not sound good with Maddison in my team. Yeah, you're right. It don't. I would much prefer Kulusevski. But again, you might just have to hold on to Maddison. He probably will start that Ipswich fixture. And again, that's not to say he can't start this Villa game. From a fan point of view, I want to see Pap Sarr. Where was I? Would you take out Eze for a -4? Can afford up to a bone or let Gabriel come off the bench. A -4 to get rid of Eze. I think you're going to have to get rid of Eze regardless, Liam. So I think I would do it. ZJ says, hi, Chai. Good to see you. Good morning. Peter Bracken says, morning, Sean. My wife, Claire Revel, needs your help with our team. How can I help, Peter? Salah or Palmer, captain, Chai? For me, it's easily Salah. And I don't own him, which is worrying. Hoping for a bit of variance. You know, all I need is a Salah blank and we'll be looking good. I just don't like how it sets me up for next week. Eddie R says, a defensive question. Would you do Greaves to Aït-Nouri and start him ahead of Gabriel? Other defenders are Lewis and Trent Alexander-Arnold. No, I don't think I would do Greaves to Aït-Nouri. I'd be more than happy to just pray Gabriel starts. I don't think I'm not expecting too much from Aït-Nouri this week. Why is Dibbling first sub? I think he's probably the best one. Haaland still in the lead, yeah, 57%. Hit that vote button for me. There's 120 people in here. Good morning for anyone that's just joined us. So who would you start? Two players from Semenyo, Porro, Aït-Nouri. I'll be starting Porro. Would I be starting Porro? I'll be starting Porro and Semenyo. 100%. Alright, let's keep scrolling. Don't want to miss something. I have a question, by the way. Do you find me hard to understand? I've already asked this, but I understand, you know, a bit of a thick accent. And I know a lot of people are not also Irish, so it's probably a bit more difficult. What's Fran doing? 2 free transfers used. Kuna and Dibbling to... Or why did I say Kuna and Dibbling? Haaland and Kuna to Dibbling. Can't speak. Haaland and Dibbling to Kuna and Salah. There you go. You know, Fran is actually, you know, his team is quite similar, I want to say, ish to my team. Is his team better than my team? No, I'll back my own team, of course. No, but again, 2 great moves, like, and I just feel like a lot of people are doing it, but Haaland could easily do it this week, lads. Yeah, a good thing to know also, 8 Nori on 4 yellow cards. Definitely good to know. I don't think I'm going to make any moves this week. I don't know, I just don't feel like it's the play. I could do Kuna. Kuna's safer than Darwin as well. He's got a really nice fixture next week also. Why is my feed not refreshing, man? This sucks. Okay, let me get back to my team. Let's have a look at the transfer page. Where are we? And let me bring back up chat. So, looking at the transfers page again. If I were to get rid of anyone, it's going to be Haaland. And if I get rid of Haaland, that means I have to bring in Salah. Fairly simple. So, one of these players, if I'm making a transfer, is going to be Mohamed Salah. 8.4, I can bring in any striker. You know what would be spicy? If I had just done Isaac 1 week earlier. We always... The only thing that puts me off that is the knock, not even the fixture. We always try to be optimal, and bringing in Isaac versus Arsenal is not by far. It's also... It's probably just as good. On penalties as well. Me personally, I rate Wissa. Your accent's not too bad? Sweet. Nah, mate, I can understand you fine. Okay, perfect. This is what I needed to hear. I understand you. I'm Irish and worked with a lot of lads from Waterford and Kilkenny. Deadly, Roger. Sweet. Start Leaf Davis or Gabriel Cezaniche? I'll be starting Leaf Davis. It's a lovely fixture. Jackson. So, yeah, a lot of people are mentioning Jackson. I don't know, man. I think I would prefer an Isaac over a Jackson. I already have Cole Palmer. I just think Isaac looks so well in this team. Again, it is the knock that puts me off. Definitely one that's going underneath the radar. Again, he was very disappointed near the start of the season. Newcastle don't look on it, but can't see that happen forever, realistically. It's all about hopping on and off the train at the right time. Who else could I go to? Okay, so like I said, what's more important is how it sets me up. So if I were to get rid of Haaland, let me just do this again, sorry. And bring in Isaac and do Tyler Dibbling up to Mohamed Salah. Switch it like this. Okay, and then game week 11 we have one free transfer, right? And we're way more flexible. Why does it tell me I've... Oh yeah, I see. It tells me I have minus 7.1. How do I reset? And then we have 0.1 in the bank. And I don't even need to make a move this week. And if I wanted to, I could do Havertz down to Acuna this week with Southampton at home. Whereas in comparison, if I don't do a move this week, I have 3 free transfers this week and have to make some moves, I feel, because the team doesn't look great. Yeah, man, it's hard. It's tough. Rashford and Foden for Salah and Rodgers. Is it the time to get rid of Rashford? I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Salah, sure. But alternatively, like, you could easily play those two. We've seen Rashford play quite well versus Chelsea before. You wouldn't be surprised to see a goal, would you? Especially with the new manager. Well, it's an interim manager, but still, new manager bounce. Good to see the captaincy poll is a bit all over the place. 30% on Salah, 55% on Haaland. Good stuff. Start Ederson or Flecken. I have Lewis. Ederson, double up. Captain Salah or Haaland this week. For me, if you have Salah, I'll be going Salah. Purely due to bonus points. You almost feel like Haaland has to get 2 returns to be on for 3 bonus. I still own Semenyo and I don't know what to do with him. Suppose if you own me, you have to play him. He comes in at an awkward price where you can't really go to anyone great. Should I sub in Wood over Johnson? Spurs look quite weak this game week without VDV. Should I sub in Wood over Johnson? I don't agree with that. In a sense where I don't think Van de Ven being out affects our attack at all. Sure, we might have less control, but the way we play will not change regardless of the personnel. Who will go in is Dragoshin. What's interesting is, what's not being talked about is Romero also came off with a bit of a precautionary knock. I've seen him in training, but you never know. I would agree with you if we seen the likes of Dragushin and Ben Davies at the back with Pedro Porro and Udogie. We're cooked at that point, but yeah. Who would you bench? Oina, Ran, or Lewis? I'll be benching Oina, I want to say. Start one of Onana or Ederson. Or Henderson, sorry. I think I'll be playing Henderson. If I sell Semenyo, I have 9.8 million in the bank. Yeah, I'll be selling Semenyo. You can do a lot with that. Get your questions in. We'll try answer as many as possible. Like, I really... FPL is hard, man. I know I'm saying that, and I'm supposed to be sure what I'm doing, but I'm so unsure, lads. I'm genuinely... It's just so awkward. I feel like this season, like last season, I knew what I wanted to do the minute the game week ended. Let me tinker a small bit more. Alright, let's do another poll. I know what to do. Rank these. This is what we'll do. Oh, you can't rank in a poll. Okay, who's the best? Let's do DCL, Kuna, Raul. Alright, let's do that. Chris Wood is not there. Again, it's just purely based on the knock, I guess. It looks like Kuna's going to win this by a margin, in my opinion. I don't know if I agree with it, though. I don't know if I agree, lads. Why won't my feed refresh, man? Come on. Why are you doing this to me? Start Saliba or Mikalenko? Mikalenko. Start one of Onana or Henderson? Henderson. How... So, I can bring in literally anyone pretty much for 8.4. I think if I make a move here, the move for me next week is Havertz to Isaac. Man, I do really like this. It's so awkward because I'm happy going either way. Do you think Wood will play? I think so. Haaland the dribbling to Raul and Salah for -8. For -8, lads, I don't think it's worth it. That's saying that Salah captaincy is going to outdo Haaland by 8. And, of course, dribbling, but... I suppose if it sets you up better for future weeks, you don't want to be relying on dribbling on a weekly basis. Wood or Welbeck? Wood. Chris Woodman. What a player. I can't believe I didn't go with him at the start of the season. Why not Wissa? Yeah, of course Wissa's one we have to talk about, but I can't double up on Brentford attack. Caicedo, Damsgaard or Buonanotte? Man, how have you got Caicedo, Damsgaard or Buonanotte in your team in the first place? That is insane work. Opinions on Wood captain? Not for me. Not for me, unfortunately. Bernardo or Rodgers? This week, Bernardo. Especially with Savinho out, he's probably going to play on the right. Buonanotte or Solanke? I'll be benching Buonanotte. Any Guardiola news? No, not to my knowledge, but I do think he'll play. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't play. Play 3 of Trent, Aina, Gabriel and Aït-Nouri. Play 3 of Trent, Aina, Gabriel and Aït-Nouri. Damien Duff as a player or manager? Manager. Trent, Aina, Gabriel and Aït-Nouri. Play 3 of them. I think I would be starting Gabriel over Aina. And hoping that, you know, if Gabriel... I don't think Gabriel will feature if he's on the bench. Who will score better this week? Aït-Nouri or Konate? Konate. Don't quote me. Sell Rodgers or Semenyo for Salah? I'll be selling Semenyo. I think there is a point in time where we'll all have Rodgers again. It depends on your minutes for Rodgers, though. If you're a bit higher than me. I'm not too crazy on Rodgers for next 3, in my opinion. Eddie Casey says, bench one of Mateus Nunes or McNeil. Benching Mateus Nunes all day. Going for breakfast. Enjoy, man. Enjoy. Start Fabianski or Sanchez. Oh, I don't like that. West Ham are ass, man. I probably would start Fabianski. Who is likely to kick it really hard in the net? Salah or Palmer, captain? That's an interesting way to put it. I love that. I would say Salah. Bench McNeil or Rodgers? I'll be benching Rodgers. I lied. I'll be benching McNeil. Sorry. Okay. Let me toy with the idea of having someone in this slot then. Let's just say in theory we go with Kuna. Looks like that, and a double Wolves attack, or double Wolves. So in game week 10, if I go with Salah and Isaac, no, Salah and Kuna. Next week I can do Havertz, who is Chelsea, which is not the worst fixture, but someone who has a better fixture in Isaac, and I think we're going to see a lot more of. I'm very happy looking at this team. By the way, I think it's important, right? It's easy to just look at your team for this week and make a rash decision based on that or from what we've seen from last week, but it's all about building the team for the next block of fixtures. And that's why I do think the Salah route is so good. It just leaves me way more flexible. Then of course next week, West Ham for Isaac, Fulham away for Kuna, and then look at that team, lads. That is ridiculous. Like, I feel like that looks so good. You have two captaincy options in Salah and Palmer. Ooh, I'm being tempted. I'm being so tempted. Alternatively though, like, no, I'm not committing to it. I really like the idea of it, and I hope you can understand where I'm coming from when I'm explaining this. Let's say in theory we would go Darwin instead of Kuna. Now, there's every reason to go Kuna over Darwin. I'm not gonna lie. The guy is everything more than Darwin. The only thing Darwin has going for him is he plays for a better team. I just don't know what the minutes looks like with the likes of Gakpo. I know Jota's out, but who's to say Gakpo can't start up top? Let's say in theory we went with Nunes. Villa at home, high line, okay. Game week 12. Then you have triple Liverpool with Southampton away, which could be any scoreline. I think that's why it's so tempting for me. You probably bench Slanky versus Rodgers if you're feeling it. Again, it's preference. Probably just play Slanky anyway, because you don't know, Rodgers could be 60 odd minutes. It looks spicy, lads. And then game week 13 looks good again. You just put back in Solanke. Mohamed Salah and Darwin versus City, but I think at this point you can look towards getting rid of Darwin. Lads, the play might be getting rid of Erling Haaland. Again, it's less about this week and more so the weeks to come. Also, if I keep Haaland, I have to captain him going forward. I'm kind of left a bit stuck. Hello everyone that's just joined us. Welcome to the stream. Not panicking here, but a bit undecided. Be sure to hit that poll option. I'm intrigued to see who you think the best option is. For me, if I had to choose right now, it probably is Kuna. Again, though, very close. I think Chris Wood is definitely a shout. Who we got in here? We got Tom Merle. Solanke DCL will come good this week. Tell you, man, Solanke. So, first of all, someone was in that space last night with me, I can tell. But yeah, I agree. Solanke is one that, I mean, it's only a matter of time, lads. I really do think the chances he will get are high quality ones. It's just about getting them, and he's not quite got them yet. Nick Zero, my channel member, of course, in here. Hello, Nick. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Which three should I start? Guardiola, Lewis, Oina, Gabriel. I'll be starting Gabriel, Guardiola, and Lewis. What to do with AA in game week 13? Who is AA? Alexander Arnold, I assume. In game week 13, frees up 2 million. Game week 13. Why game week 13? Let's see what you're saying. Game week 13 got City and Newcastle. Again, Trent can come up with anything against anyone. Always. What transfer have you been made? I haven't made any transfer. I got Larson. What do you think about him? He's grand, like, he's grand. I much prefer Kuna, though. I think what we're seeing is, you know, Larson, of course, returned in recent weeks, whereas Kuna is probably still the best man. Of course, if it enables you to do moves elsewhere, I'm all for it. Oh, do I get rid of him? I don't know how I'm going to make up my mind about doing this move. But what we will do is stalk other people and see what they're saying. It's always a good move, you know. If in doubt, stalk other people and see what they're doing. Right? Let me focus my camera. Hold on. Sweet. You transfer out Haaland? I haven't yet. And I don't know if I will. I'm really undecided. Came here to hit the like. Cheers. Thank you, Sunrock. Appreciate you. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes this stream. Is that a bit of an ask? Let's see. Who do I captain? Palmer, Kuna, Wissa, and Mbeumo. If those are your options, for me, it's Palmer. Cole, Palmer. I'm going triple Spurs against City. Or against Villa. Pray for me. Come on, you Spurs. I wish you the best of luck, man. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. Off topic. What colour is this dress? By the way, I don't know if this image actually is seeable in white and gold. I see blue and black. Let me know. There's no way, surely you're seeing white and gold, right? Should I start Martinez or Ramsdale? Should I start Martinez or Ramsdale? I would play Martinez again. They're both fairly cat. Blue, of course, yeah. I don't even know if this image is seeable in white and gold, because obviously it's from a different perspective. It could be, like, this is not the OG photo. Let me try find. This is the OG one. Okay, what do you see here? Orange and black. Huh? Remember this dress, man. This originally broke the internet. Those were the days. Would you sell Diaz? If yes, what are the best replacements? I wouldn't sell him this week, I don't think. Who is the best replacement? I'm not going to answer because I think you hold on to him. Start Bruno or Vardy against Ipswich? Bruno. Of course. All day Bruno. Purple and orange. Bro, what? What? Okay. Back to the theme. Back to tinkering. I just don't like... I'll be honest. Okay. Is it biased for me to think? Now, keep in mind... The early sub for Rodgers... in the 56th minute. John Duran looking like an absolute beast. Scoring again midweek, I believe. But is it too much for me to want to sell... Or not even sell Rodgers, but to bench Rodgers for the next two? One, because he plays Spurs and then he plays Liverpool next week. But two, the reduced minutes. And I just think a striker like Kuna would be much better. 62% of the chat on Kuna. Man, you're not helping me, lads. Lewis or Aitonori? Lewis. Will Son start today? Today? No, he'll start tomorrow though. He'll start tomorrow. Choi. Thoughts on swapping Alexander-Arnold to Estupinian in game week 13? Man, you're looking way too far ahead. In game week 13, no. I don't know. It's hard for me to comment on something so far down the line. I would just say no. By the way, when we finding out about this mystery chip, what do you think the mystery chip is? I'm going to say double captaincy. Think because you can play that, like, whenever. Imagine double captaincy with, like, Haaland and Salah in, like, a week where they both play bottom half teams. That'd be crazy. Would you start Winks versus Ipswich or Rodgers versus Tottenham? 100% Rodgers. Rodgers all day. Man, Spurs need a big win. If we win, it'll have a big impact. I think, especially off the back of beating City in the Cup. Need it, man. So, do we want to talk about Dominic Solanke, or are we all good? Have we spoke about him enough? Chewy FBL says, I feel like I'm the only one without Salah if you do end up making a move. Yeah, Chewy. But Salah is the GOAT, like. Let's be real. He is the GOAT, undoubtedly, as well. I do think he can go either way, though. Again, Chewy, it's less about Salah and more so playing Kuna over Rodgers. I feel like Wolves have been decent on an attacking point of view. The games are just so open, like. Hi mate, potential -4. What do you think on Solanke, Semenyo, Trent, Raul, Saka, Rananori, and Captaincy on the robot? I don't love those moves. I don't love them at all. Captaincy on the robot though is fine. Sell Gabriel for Mbeumo. How does that work? Who are you bringing in for Gabriel is the question. Tosan Kulu, he was awesome against City in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, when the debate of Johnson scoring in like whatever consecutive games, I was still fairly high on Kulu as a better asset. I think providing his minutes specifically, Johnson was always going to have a drop off. Yeah, but we're seeing a different beast from Kulusevski this season. And I think when I'll start looking at Kulusevski is if we see Maddison being dropped and Pap Sarr coming into the team. Don't get me wrong, Kulu plays a very, very free role in general anyway. But you want them closer to the goal. And if Pap Sarr comes in, he might be the one, you know. I flipped a coin, says Ferrari, on Haaland and Palmer, and it landed on Palmer. Well, there you go. Sometimes FPL is easy. More for Dibbling. Just nice to look at. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, I wish there was a point in time where we could speak about more. I just don't think it's yet. Too early. Hi, I have one free transfer. Son to Palmer this week, or roll. To be honest, United away, Villa home, I would just roll. Chewy FPL says, I did a trade on Solanke and not a fan at all in terms of an FPL pick. He's been class for you guys, but all around play this season, he gives Firmino vibes in terms of FPL. Yeah, I would, for the most part, agree. But I think it is too small of a sample size to deem him a Firmino. You know, there's a line, again, I'm not comparing him to Harry Kane. But if Solanke could get somewhere in between a Firmino and Harry Kane where he's playing a role, picking up deep, but still getting chances, which I think he will inevitably get chances. Spurs are one of the best in the league at generating chances. It's just not been towards him yet. And I do think that comes from the poor service off the left. Again, I'm not trying to pinpoint it on one player. Poor service from Werner and the lack of creativity from Maddison. And it's reliant on Kulusevski then, but I think there's a few parameters into that rather than just the underlying numbers not showing that he's not getting chances, because he's not. But I do think if he does, they will be good chances, and it goes down to how Spurs play. Again, I do need 2 more game weeks figured out. Mr. Feather says, why are you dodging my question? Apologies, man. Who would you pick? Eze to Trossard / 2 free transfers. Eze to Iwobi and Pedro to Kuna. Eze to Iwobi and Pedro to Raul. Interesting that you like the look of Iwobi. I think I would do Iwobi and Pedro to Kuna. Again, I can't tell you. I've had too much time to think about that though. But from the 3 options you've said, I fancy that. Haaland and Semenyo to Kuna plus Salah for a -4. It's the popular one this week, lads. It is the popular one this week, and I do think there is some reason behind it. Only just joined, says Callum. He says, what moves are you doing? Callum, we're still very unsure. I'm almost joining the Kuna train, which is not boring. I actually think it's quite exciting. And it's because of what it allows me to do next week of bringing in Isaac for Kai Havertz. Not that I can't do it anyway, but I'll have 3 free transfers next week and more to think about, basically. And I don't want to play Rodgers this week. This is what we're looking at. Again, I know other managers are doing this, but I think Brighton at home for Salah, Southampton in 12, a nice little fixture versus Villa next week. It makes sense, like. And again, maybe part of me is also on the no Haaland train. You know, that's my roots, man. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. More than transfer is Bernardo or Bowen. Bowen. Mark. Bowen. Start 3 out of Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis, Aitonori, Mikalenko. Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis, Aitonori, Milenkovic. Sorry. I would start. I think I'd just double up on the Arsenal guys. Honestly. Just why not? Aitonori. Alright, let's do another scroll. I love scrolling, man. Because then I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Konate FPL locked in. What's he doing? Double Spurs attack. You poor fucker, man. Oh, how do people do this to myself? It pains me enough to watch Spurs. Never mind owning double or triple. I can't do it anymore, man. That is a mad looking team, though. And I actually quite like it. FPL Sonaldo is locked in. He's rolling. Valid. Very similar team to me, actually. Asian brother. Best 6.5 million midfielder. It's gotta be Alejandro Garnacho. Not like there's too many great options, though. Let's get back to the team. 171 people in here. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes. I don't know how many we have, but hit that like button for me, please. What I'm planning to do, I'm going to leave it till the end because I really don't know what I want to do. I'll be honest. What I am looking at, though, is moving on Haaland and Dibbling. I need to figure out where my mind is at with Havertz. These are tough fixtures, but he can still do some damage, like. Spurs are going down. Come on, Villa, says Jonathan. I don't know about that, champ. I think it'll be a good game, though. How do I feel about Havertz, man? We've seen him get chances versus Liverpool. First off, I'm so torn between Haaland or Salah. Yeah, me too. As you can tell. Let me close that poll on Kuna, by the way. Let's do another poll, shall we? 200 votes, 63% on Kuna, 27% on Raul, 10% on DCL. People are scared about DCL, but I think DCL is actually fairly underrated. Don't get me wrong, he's not the greatest finisher in the league, but he's going to get chances. Who to bench? Rodgers, McNeil, Emil Smith-Rowe. I'll be benching Rodgers. Is Captain Palmer a good option? I don't think it's a bad one. Sold Kai for Kuna last game week, says Chewy. Yeah, you're probably right. I feel like I was hard done by not getting a return last week, though. I only fear Son, he rips us up. I agree. Somewhere ingrained in my mind also is Son doing quite well against Villa. He likes the old high line, alright. What moves are you guys making? I know a lot of people have lots of questions about the Salah move, but maybe you're thinking about something a bit different. Let me know in chat. Bench Kulu or Delap? Benching Kulu, no chance, man. You're joking on this form. Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. Troy, I have 4 players in Villa Spurs game. Porro, Johnson, Watkins, Rodgers. Not ideal. Would play Semenyo over Rodgers or Johnson? I would say I would play him over Rodgers. Again, it's really hard asking a Spurs fan that, but I genuinely feel like we're the better attacking team in that sense, and it's also a home fixture for us, so it's good to know. Man, Dele Alli, what a player. Okay. Chewy says he's rolling. What moves to do? Very tempting. Who to start? Garnacho, Johnson, or Rodgers? I would start. Oh, we can only start one. I think I'll be playing Garnacho. I did Solanke to Kuna because I have Johnson. I respect that. So should I start Kulusevski? Yes. Answer is yes. Again, I'm going to tinker on FPL team. For me, FPL team is the best for messing around. Phenomenal. Game week 12. So a good way to look at your planned team or how your team looks in the future is if people were wildcarding, what would they have? Game week 12 will be a popular wildcard week if you somehow haven't played it already. People will have, I'm telling you now, they'll have Salah and Palmer. 100%. Who else has good fixtures? Ooh, Saka's also a shout. Salah, Palmer, and Saka. Ooh, Saka's definitely a shout. So when I'm looking at this, it's like, how do I get to a Saka in the future? Or maybe not even a Saka. How do I get Arsenal defender? A bit stuck. You probably don't want to be holding on to an Ederson. Like, I could go Raya. Okay, let's say we roll this week because it's actually quite good. 2 free transfers. You probably do get rid of Darwin because Jota will be back in the mix at some point. Sorry I'm looking so far ahead, by the way. It's important for me to do that when I'm looking at some of my moves for the future. That leaves us to be able to afford Havertz again. That would be going against Saka, of course. You could alternatively hop off Salah, but I don't think you hop off Salah with those fixtures. You could do... it's not ideal, but you go Raya, which is the perfect funds. Again, it really depends on how price changes affect us coming this game week. But I think it looks good. What do you think of my no Haaland draft? I think every no Haaland draft is going to look well. You know, assuming you have Salah, Palmer, / Saka. That's why it's so difficult. And you just have to hopefully do your timing right. And trying to get timing right in FPL, you might as well be throwing shit at a wall. Like, I mean, it just doesn't work like that. And sometimes even when it's optimal, it doesn't work out like that. And that's why we get into situations like this where, yeah, fellas like me who are meant to be sure on what they're doing, but I can't even communicate what I want to do because I don't know. It's mad, isn't it? Like, there's 160 people in here. Listen to me unsure. Is song gonna start? I'll put my money on it. I would say there's a 90% chance Sun sets. But what do I know? I'll never forget, actually. This is off topic. Did you go trick-or-treating in Halloween? This is an interesting question because it will tell me your age. You either went trick-or-treating yourself or with a kid, or you didn't go, which means you're probably in your 20s. And also, what age did you stop trick-or-treating? I'll never forget the time I was like, I want to say 11. I was tall at the time, and I went around with a black sack, as you do. And this fella like abused me because he was like, "You're too old for this shit. What are you doing?" I'll never forget that. That was the last year I went trick-or-treating. Oh, those were the days. What's your stance on Madison? Don't like him as an FPL asset. Who to bench? Strand Larson, Kulusevski, Smith Rowe. FPL Murph says, would you do Dibbling or Semenyo or Milenkovic, rolling 2 free transfers, or is it the same move as you with Salah in, Haaland out? Murph, I'm unsure. I can't tell you, man. I really don't know. Adam Sousa, our other channel member in chat. Good to see you, man. Jonathan Shirley says, yes, took my kids, didn't trick-or-treat when I was young. Really? You never trick-or-treated when you were young? Why is that? I'm curious. Of course, people grow up with different reasons. Maybe it's not part of your culture. I was never the biggest fan of Halloween, to be honest. It's alright, like. Maybe I'm a bit boring. Alexander says, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gordon, Mitoma to Young, Buenanotte and Palmer. Ashley Young, Buenanotte and Cole Palmer for Trent, Gordon, Mitoma. I don't like that, man. I don't like it. I think 11-2, says Ryan. I was way too old. Yeah. Having an old fella tell you to absolutely feck off is heartbreaking, man. Stop when I was 15, 16. Luke, man, that's old. That is old, like. Even I'd tell you to fuck off, like. Start one, Kulusevski, Gabriel Delap. Always the attacker in this sense, Jackie boy. It's got to be Kulusevski. Roger McSweeney says 11 years old was the last trick-or-treating for me. And that was the last Santa year also. Yeah, the last Santa year, man. I'll never forget. I found out when I asked my nan. She knew though. She knew I knew, and she kind of instigated it. And I just said, yeah, I know. And then it actually got confirmed. I was like, oh shit, maybe Maybe I didn't know. So it actually kind of surprised me. Has Diblin ever had a good week? As for trick-or-treating wasn't a thing in the early 90s. That is fair, Jonathan. Has Diblin had a good game? He's had a good game. It's just his minutes are a bit ass. Never did trick-or-treating. My dad always said Halloween is the opportunity for consumerism. That is right. I mean, you're not wrong, but it's also a good buzz. You get to dress up, and like if you have kids, it's good to see them happy wandering around in a costume. Hold, that didn't come out very well. You know what I meant. Stop when I was 12, says Chewy. Bench Guardiola or Gabriel? I'll be benching Gabriel. Bench Robinson or Face? I'll be benching Wout Face. Is it worth getting 8 and Ori for a -4? No. Kulusevski, oh, what a player. That's right, you can say that again. Trent and Palmer for Salah and Shimikas. I won't be bringing in Shimikas personally. Don't get me wrong, Robertson's position doesn't look great, but still, I don't fancy Shimikas. Do you think Gabriel and Madison will start? I still think Madison's more likely to start than not. Do I think Gabriel will start? Again, I think if he doesn't, he's not gonna get minutes off the bench. I'd be very surprised. So to answer your question, I think Gabriel will probably start. Okay. Another scroll on Twitter. Apologies, guys. I just don't know what moves I want to make yet, and I have to leave it to the last minute. I'm not trying to blue ball you guys. If I had the answer, I'd give it to you. You plan on holding Haaland this week, says Leo. I'm unsure, man. I really don't know. Start 2. Rogers, Madison, Semenyo. Madison and Semenyo. Why am I so against Rogers against Spurs, though? I just think it's the minutes. You expect Semenyo to get really high minutes. Ooh, Madison or Rogers is tough, though. But if I fancy the game to go Spurs' way, then this has to be Madison. Is that Ray or Fabianski? Ray. Standard. I do think this will be one of these weeks. Oh, but then again, they both might just blow everyone out of the water and everyone's happy then. Unless you have Eze, thank fuck for that. Absolutely. Eze's been a nightmare, by the way. Apologies if you're one that was listening to me about holding him, but I did genuinely think Eze is a good option. I don't think he was a mistake. Rogers will score today. That's impossible, Jonathan, because he plays tomorrow. Liam says, what's up, Chai? Missed the last stream because I had school. All good, Liam. I assume you have midterm this week, is it? Welcome to another stream. Double digits, by the way. No one's talking about that on deadlines. Game week 10 already. Only 28 game weeks left, which is mad to think. Coming up around November time. Let me know in chat. Do you like November? I know a lot of people. This is probably the most quiet and the season they hate the most. But then again, I'm sure January and February is up there around my birthday. But let me know. What do you think of this time of the year? And also, another thing on that is you either hate or love Christmas. Depending on, you know, I know a lot of people lose family members, myself included, around Christmas time, but I still enjoy it. Show the squad. I'm captaining my boy Palmer. Okay, here's my team. Yeah, 2 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. It's interesting. It is very interesting. 2 very, very good games, might I add. I don't know why they keep putting these games of Fulham, Brentford on the Monday night. Come on, give us something like. Who makes these fixtures? Surely Chelsea do well against a fallen United. You'd like to think so, but then again, Old Trafford is never an easy game. Troy, is there any hope for me left? I'm 6 million in the world. What I would say is, yeah, of course. This is a tough season though. Some of the best managers I think we've ever seen play FPL are having a tough year. Again, I don't put myself in that bracket. I'm just having a bad year in general. But there is always time to claw back rank. It's just it mightn't be in the top 10k if that's the goal. Rogers is not on your bench. Well, I don't think Dibbling should be starting for me this week. Solanke, Mavididi to Kuna, Bernardo Silva. Yes, but I don't love it. No, I would hold on to Solanke and Mavididi. Never mind. Try help me out. Dibbling, Mikalenko, and Rogers to start. Dibbling, Mikalenko, or Rogers to start. Got to be the attacker. Rogers. Hate to cold, but Christmas makes up for it. Absolutely. Is Son going to start? Yes. Salah and Nunes. I would love to. But I don't think Nunes is a play due to minutes. I'm just so skeptical. I don't know what his minutes look like. I know Jota's out, but again, it's Cody Gakpo. He scored again. He rifled the goal in against Brighton, so small bit skeptical. Morning, Chai. Once I changed to Haaland after having the optimal team without, he of course stopped scoring. Would probably change back to Salah. I wonder if I will perfect bad timing. Yeah, see, that's my issue also. But the only thing I would say on that is, Mohamed Salah is the GOAT of FPL. If you hold him for long enough, he will do it. So I don't think it can backfire that bad. Don't get me wrong, Haaland could do well this week. He could also do well the next week and the next week. But I would also back Salah to keep up with him somewhat over the next 3, especially with those fixtures. I've been forced to play Semenyo since Eze's injured. Yeah, not ideal. But again, at least you got someone to play. Is Watkins a good captaincy option other than Palmer and Haaland? I don't love it. Again, it's just more so how good Haaland and Salah are this week as options. Struggling to choose between Vardy, Bruno and Kulu. I feel Vardy might get goals against Ipswich. Yeah, but it's very difficult to bench a Bruno or a Kulu. Again, I don't like that, so I'm not even going to answer it for you. Morning, Chai. Should I start Buonanotte or the Lap? Probably the Lap. Calvert-Lewin should swap for who? I think getting rid of Calvert-Lewin is actually a bit silly. I would just hold on to him, man. Again, the fixtures are still there for him and he's getting chances. He's just not converting. What are your transfer plans, Chai? Right now I'm thinking Kuna and Salah in. Again, I want Nunes. Like, if Nunes got a brace versus Brighton, I just wouldn't be surprised at all. It would actually be the least surprising thing you could tell me this week. But that will only happen if he gets 75 plus minutes. And if that is that a possibility, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you told me he was going to get 90 minutes versus Brighton, I'd bring him in a heartbeat. Best Eze replacement looks like Garnacho. I don't think this Chelsea fixture is too bad. Start Rogers or Semenyo? Semenyo for the minutes. Actually, I think either. The answer is either. You're weighing up Mins versus probably the toughest defense on paper this week, considering it's Bournemouth. How many weeks do you look ahead when you plan? So, I would say the immediate week, if I'm bringing in someone, and how his fixtures look for the next 3, and what that allows me to do with the funds in my bank for the following 2-3 weeks. What I like to do though is look at trends, like you just saw me do if you're in here, was looking at game week 12, a wildcard week. Will I have the team that a lot of people would want, or players that a lot of people would want? The answer is yes. So that means I'm setting up my team well for a few weeks, and I'm also hitting the nail on the head by bringing in players that are sought after this week. I'm being dead serious. I'm captain Kuna. I don't know if I agree with that, man. Chris Fowles at home. It's alright. At Molyneux. Would you sell Saliba for Ran? No. Are you selling Haaland? Maybe. Maybe, Jack. I don't know. Nathan Sohn says, chances Gabriel and Guardiola play. It will only have 2. I think both start. I do think both start. Ake is seen in the graphic, but I don't know. I really don't know. Like, if I were to put my money, I'd have it on both of them starting. My daughter picked Madueke to replace Eze. Yeah, man, I wish FPL was that easy for me. I need a daughter to just pick my team on a weekly basis. I have my little cousin playing. He's like 8 or 9, and he picks on players based on how many points they scored last week. Take me back, like, take me back. Nunes and Salah juicy. It is. It's so juicy. Bruno might finally return considering ECH is sacked. I don't know about that. I think Bruno was actually picking up good numbers regardless of who the manager was. And he's actually just not... he's not been fortunate to get the returns. Is Guardiola going to start? I don't know. I really don't know. Hello, Chai. How you been? Have you recovered from the cold yet? Ryan, I have an endless cold, my brother. We're always blocked up because I'm Asian. You know what that comes from, and I always say this. When you think about it, right? I'm an Asian man, and I live in Ireland. My body doesn't know what is going on, like, for the last 21 years. It's like, you know, my skin was evolved to deal with humid climates. And now it's the complete opposite, dry and wet, and I don't know how it can be both of those things at the same time. But you know what I mean? We go through cold periods where it's not so humid. My body don't know what's going on. So that's why I'm probably always sick. Promise I'm not weak. Yeah. Konate or Aït-Nouri or both? Konate. Darwin or Gakpo? Darwin. Lewis or Aït-Nouri? Lewis. Johnson, Madison and Solanke. Bench one. Gotta be benching Madison in that situation. The one I'm not benching is Solanke. No way. Aït-Nouri or Aina, Gabriel or Lewis. I'll be benching Aina, providing and hoping Gabriel don't play. Morning, boss. FPL doctor as usual in here. One free transfer, 1.3 million in the bank. Have Palmer, Son, Mbeumo, Rogers, Semenyo. Thoughts on Semenyo out for Garnacho? Doctor, man, you don't need me to sell you Garnacho. Don't need me to do that. I do like the move though. And it's a really nice fixture for Garnacho. I think it's next week. Leicester at home. Ipswich away. Then of course we see the new manager come in. So I think the short term is there. You'll have to make your own decision whether or not you think the new manager will play him. What was that on my Twitter feed? This? Yeah, there's always dodgy stuff on my Twitter feed. If you're unfamiliar with Twitter, this is fairly normal. Like, this is every 10 scrolls I want to say. There's some bullshit on my feed. You know what I mean? You get me, like. Twitter is cooked, man. Twitter is so cooked. It's so unbelievably cooked. Chai is wild. Yeah, Chai is wild. Captain Foden considering his record against Bournemouth. What's his record against Bournemouth? Let's bring up StatMoose. StatMoose is great, by the way. How is this free? Foden versus Bournemouth. What's his record saying? Yo, that's a pretty good record. A goal. A goal every few games. Or in the last... Since when? Okay. I can see that. 4 goals, 2 assists in the last 4. I think he'll probably get 90 in this game. Choi, do I sell Haaland and get in Salah, Palmer, Foden, or stick with Haaland, Foden, Madison? Can't answer the question for you because I don't know what I'm doing myself, man. It'd be unfair to give you an answer. M Fundo says, what's up, Choi? What's up? How are we? Let me see Erling Braut versus Bournemouth. Meh. Shit, maybe this is a sign. Bro, struggling, like, getting early subbed as well. Again, this is a fugazi metric. I'm just clawing at any reason to make a move at this point. Salah versus we got Brighton. Fucking hell. It's mad when you look at like numbers like these that are completely irrelevant though. It does change some sort of switch in your mind. Let's see him versus Southampton, who he has in Game Week 12. Apologies, chat. I'm so sorry. Foden won't play 90. You think so? Man, Salah's ass versus Southampton. Why did I think he was so much better? Isn't one of these a 9-0 or something like that? Salah will do Brighton over? Probably. Probably right. Anyway, back to my team. 28 minutes until the deadline. Hit that like button for me if you're just joining in. Appreciate you. What am I going to do, lads? What am I going to do? I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't do this anymore. How many minutes do you think Sonny gets in the next two? I think he gets 70 versus Villa. I think how many minutes he gets versus Ipswich depends on the game state. If it's 0-0 at half time, he's playing 75 minimum. If it's 3-0 in the first half, he's getting 65 minutes. There is no situation, I don't think, where I see Son playing 90 minutes in that game. How many free transfers you got, Chai? 2. I've got 2. Watkins, Ina to Wood, Trent Alexander-Arnold for a -4. Sure, I don't know. -4 is a bit of a stretch though. Honestly, more people should just roll. Yeah, I was of that mindset until I looked at my team for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Any thoughts on Wissa versus Raul? Interesting one, but I just wouldn't double up on the Brentford attack. It's not for me. Any leak on Foden McNeil? No, not that I know of. It's never going to be 0-0 in the first half against Ipswich. Jonathan, are you unfamiliar with Spurs' game? We could be the best team in the league for attacking numbers, and we could be playing the worst team in the league, won't matter, at home, and we could still not score. Like, FPL Doctor says, do I use my free transfer to get Saka? He will play 2 90-minute games. What I would ask you is, do you really think Saka will play back-to-back 90s? This is like a... I'm not saying he's not going to. I just think... Is that something you could be so sure of? I mean, you're probably right. I just mean like... What if he gets 80-80 and Son gets 75-75? I mean, it's not too far-fetched to hold on to Son then. Especially with the 2 better fixtures, you know what I mean? Again, it doesn't matter who Saka's playing against. He can do it, but... Just food for thought. Troy, I have the solution for you. Buy cook rice. I should just be wearing my rice cap. Hold on. Let me pull it up. In my straw field. And I should just be cooking rice instead of cooking with FPL. You're right. I mean, you're rice. I mean, you're right. Would you start Davis or Ignori? Davis. Thoughts on Salah triple captain? Not for me this week. Is getting rid of Son needed this week? No. Choi, it's Arteta. He won't allow Saka to play less than 90. You're right. But let me bring up Saka Arsenal fixtures. They have Newcastle Champions League, which he's going to play in 4 days later on Sunday. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to not see 90, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Whether that's 80, sure, but I don't know, man. Again, make your own decision on that. It's just how I see it. Christmas time is always fairly congested. I know we're not near Christmas yet, but you know what I mean. International break soon as well. I meant Cook from Bournemouth and Royce from Arsenal. Law. Apologies. I thought you were just being blatantly racist. Start 2 of Mbeumo, Son or Johnson. I'll be starting Mbeumo and Son. DCL to Raul or just roll because of Southampton fixture. Roll. Choice start 2 of Mbeumo, Son or Johnson. I answered that already. Who to bench, Rogers, Solanke or Lewis? Bench Rogers. How much longer are you keeping Solanke for? We need to assess the next 2 game weeks. I think it's a game week or two too early to decide. Why don't you share your Instagram account? Go hit me a follow. My Instagram is DylanChoi_. Be more than happy. I'm going to start posting soon enough actually. But yeah, go follow me. Cook Royce. I'm adding that pickled egg. Yeah. Garnacho or Bruno? Bruno all day. It's not even a question. Yeah, Bruno. Hello, Choi, says Nazar. Who to bench? Rogers, Solanke or Lewis? Bench one of Rogers or Lewis. If you think Lewis is going to start, bench Rogers. If you think Rogers is going to get more than 60 minutes, start Rogers. Solanke to Darren is so nasty move. I don't know about that one, champ. I'm more than happy to hold on to Solanke. Choi, start 2 of Oina, Gabriel, Aitonori. I would start Gabriel and Aitonori. When are you putting up the Christmas tree? Fairly late, man. Us people in this house we're used to doing it late. I don't know why. Nicholas Jackson out for Kuna. What say? I mean, Jackson's not bad. He plays against United away. I think I'll just hold on to him. Sell McNeil or Brendan Johnson? McNeil, I guess. Why it sounds like you say Choi, but it sounds like Choi. No, it is Choi. FPL Choi. Not Choi. Would you buy Kuna and Iwobi or Raul and Garnacho? I would buy... Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I think my preference is Kuna and Iwobi. Remove Paro this week? No. I think if you can hold on to him, you've nothing else to do. Hold on to him. Is Sonaldo starting? I would say so. You benching Aitonori? Yes. When to bring in Kuna? Maybe now. Choi Karak? I don't know what that means. Choi, do you reckon Ake will start for City today? Man, it's so hard to say. But I'm happy not to own Guardiola, so I don't have to think about it. I mean, Choi is tea in my language. How many languages is Choi tea? Looks like 8th. Persian, Slovene, Macedonian, Hindi. Nice. Alright, let's do a quick little scroll as usual. Tom Headley, right then. Drop any last minute. Sonny is in. Okay, this is good to see. I didn't mean to full screen that. My bad. Sonny's in the building. Good to see. Good to see. Well, there you go. Karak is an Arabian type of tea. You know what? I think I've had it before. I have an Arabic friend. Who gets manager troll of the ward a month for October? Who is going to get manager of the month? That is a good question. I don't know. No one's really stood out. I've Wood, Jackson and Haaland up front. Who to replace for Kuna? Maybe you hop off the Wood boat before it burns. Mikalenko or Aitonori? Mikalenko. Do you know why is Romero flagged? Yeah, he came off with a precautionary knock. What is your name, Choi? And like coffee? No, like tea. Start McNeil, Rogers or Gabriel? McNeil. Oh man, that is so difficult, man. Because there are 3 players that are going to get reduced minutes, it looks like. Probably just risk McNeil. Flecken or Fabianski? I want to say Flecken. Mikalenko or Rogers start? Rogers. Has to be the attacker. Let's see what Sonny's saying. What is he saying?
Michael Jackson.
The vibes are good in the camp. I would be delighted to own Sonny this week. Again, I don't. I got rid of him, but...
Is that trying to avoid the camera?
Okay. Anyway, anyone, that's your update on Sonny. Let me mute that. Where are we? Is Smith Rowe a good pick over the next 3 fixtures? He doesn't stand out to me, I'll be honest. I don't love it. Again, I don't hate it though. Like, when you look at these numbers, man, they're class. Very good numbers. Choi, let me help you. What is your conundrum? My conundrum is whether or not I bring in Kuna and Salah. Obviously. My moderator, George, is in chat. Good to see you, George. I don't know if I missed you, but... welcome. Why Lewis over... Okay, so... I don't know who this account is, right? He's saying that a potential Brazilian is going to start. Now, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just going to show you what I see. I'm not trying to say Gabriel is going to start, but that could also mean Martinelli. Just keep it in mind. You know, it's always crazy. I know without even, like, someone in the FPL space has quoted this. Let's see. First one, FPL Lewis. I knew it. It's just what we do. If there's anyone going to be quoting something like this, it's an FPL account. It's just too easy. Been lurking, don't mind me. No worries, George. All good, man. Moderating the chat in peace. Start 2. NDA, Rogers, or Garnacho. NDA and Garnacho for me. Rohan says, the total disappointment in your face after your scroll session ends because you got to actually think. It's so hilarious because I'm half dead over a game. Yeah. It's tough, man. Chess Econ says, Cartel. Yeah, FPL Choi Cartel. It exists. Star Smith Rowe or Rogers? Rogers. Or no, Smith Rowe. Would you take a -8 to get Trent and Wissa for null players to then bench boost? No, I wouldn't be taking a -8, personally. Bench 1, Justin Lewis or Gabriel? I'd be benching Justin and praying that Gabriel starts. Start one of Delap or Rogers. Delap. Choi, my advice is to sell either Solanke or Havertz for Kuna. Do not sell Erling Haaland. That is not what I wanted to hear. The team just looks so much better with a 3-4-3, lads. Yeah, so that was a big thing, Sushant. Salah likely to not be called in for the international break as Egypt has qualified. I heard this last night in a space with FPL Fran, and I think that is such like a bonus, because usually we see Salah get a bit of a rest when he comes back from international breaks. If he's not going, that is class. Shank says, I remember you mentioned about ads in your previous deadline stream. I just saw a couple of ads playing. Yeah, so about that, Shank. So basically what happened was I mentioned that and we were speaking about it, and chat actually told me, you know, they don't mind watching the odd ad to support. So I stuck them on. I hope you don't mind. James says, good morning. Ready to roll my transfer and do Brennan Johnson to Garnacho next week. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. But saying that though, you're going to be getting rid of Brennan Johnson for Ipswich at home. So I don't understand that. Start Reece James or Gabriel? How do you have Reece James? I would play Gabriel, hoping that he doesn't come off the bench if he doesn't play. Pool play. Why has someone called me FPL Fran? I promise I'm not FPL Fran, man. We're both in the cartel, but I'm not Fran, man. Ah, I don't even know if that's racist or it's just like ignorance. I don't understand. Oh, lads. Chat, you never fail to amaze me. Start Gabriel or Digne? Gabriel. What was your moves, Shy? I haven't done any yet. I'm planning on bringing Salah and Kuna. Reece James could be genius, it could be, or could just not be dangerous. Do you get more money if we don't skip the ads? I haven't a clue. I would be skipping my ads if I were you. Skip every single one of my ads. Don't try giving me any money. Let me make it easier for you. Keep Haaland, sell 29 or Bournemouth Slanky for Kuna. You have enough funds, upgrade Dibbling or defense. I don't know, man. I don't know. 15 minutes until the deadline. We're absolutely scrambling. They perhaps copy and paste in chat from channel to channel. That is a good point. Maybe he's not ignorant. That is a good point. Did you overlook Darwin? I don't think it's an overlook. If anything, I've looked at Darwin the most out of anyone. And I think he has the potential to do very good. But I think Kuna is probably safer. Brave browser plus adblock is OP. Yeah, you're right. I just lazy, man. Sell Diaz for Saka. This week, no. Start Sade or McNeil. Sade. I'll probably play McNeil. I believe Foden will now start hogging Haaland points. Yeah, I hope that narrative is right if I go Haalandless. You never let that woman get changed. I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah, I know you want to see more chat, but I can't allow it, unfortunately. Start Gabriel or Robinson. Doesn't look like we're going to get Atten on the feed just yet. Again, we will keep it scrolling in about 10 minutes. Okay, I need to have these moves ready in front of me. Bournemouth away, Erling Haaland. He's got Brighton, Topspur, Liverpool, Forest, Palace, United, Villa. Difficult fixtures when it comes to... let's be real, they're probably not difficult for City. But Mohamed Salah, who gets a rest, looks like he's getting a rest during the international break. 2 home fixtures in the next 2, and an away fixture versus Southampton. That's a bit of me. Choi, do you play chess? I used to when I was younger. Haaland hat-trick incoming. Yeah, the week I fucking get rid of him, of course. Typical. If you get rid of Haaland, will you cap Salah or Palmer? I'll be captain Mohamed Salah. Why Salah this week over next week? Again, it's more so I can bring in a different striker and play him instead of Rodgers and get rid of Dibbling. Have you done the score predictions yet, or am I bugging? Alright, let's do the score predictions. Real quick. Chat, be sure to get involved. Let me know what you think in chat. Newcastle Arsenal, what are we feeling? I think it's going to be 2-all. I think Newcastle are going to surprise us this week. No bias. Promise. Bournemouth City, it's going to be 3-0 City. Ipswich Leicester, 2-all. Liverpool Brighton, 3-0 Liverpool. Man, how am I saying these scores? I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it sounds right in my head. Forest West Ham, 1-all. Southampton Everton, 2-all. Wolves Crystal Palace, 2-all. Spurs Villa, 3-1 Spurs. United Chelsea, 2-all. Man, why is there so many goals? Fulham Brentford, 1-all. Okay, what is chat saying? Do you agree? Dylan Hudson has just said Foden starts, and I want to see where this has come from. 2-1 Arsenal, 2-1 Newcastle. By the way, sorry for going so quick. 3-2 Bournemouth, 3-1 LFC. I don't know if Spurs going to get spanked. Sure, pal, sure. Slow down. Apologies, Dylan, apologies. 2-2 Brighton, Liverpool. I disagree with all your scores. That's fine. You're not here to play with me. You're against me, man. Focal. Can you do something, shawty? Tristan Clark says, love the content. I want Salah, but only... Hold on, I need to check folk real quick. Need to see if I'm being baited. The video is not available anymore. What do you mean?
Really this way? Because, I mean, Chelsea ripped apart the high line. And that was with no Van Heck. It could be no Dunk this time. I would captain Salah if I had him. And I'm jealous of anyone that's got both.
Your midfield is terrible, Chai.
Chat got both. Haaland and Salah.
Oscar will tweet it, if it's true. Oscar will tweet it. I know Oscar. I'm familiar with his game. Kupla Focal. I've decided last game week I'll captain from the match. No Salah, no Haaland, no Palmer captain. Andrew's gonna make Werner sleep with the Kangaroos. Thank you, Farley. Okay, we need to get back to my team, lads. Let's get rid of this Haaland fella, will we? Let's just do it. Who is the best out of DCL? Wood. 9 minutes left, Connor says. Walker has travelled with the squad. Good to know, George. Thank you. Not great for Rico Lewis, but cheers, George. Haha, he's doing it. Well, are we? Again, just to reiterate, less to do with how good Salah and Haaland are as options. I think they're both going to do quite well. Is how it lets me develop my team for the next few game weeks, including this one where I can play Kuna instead of a Rodgers or a Dibley. Now, what would be the inevitable thing here to happen? I'll captain Erling Haaland. Dibbling will get a 15-pointer, and Kuna will blank also. Take my money. That's us. We're locked in. Took long enough. Only took 2 hours and 10 minutes. Average FPL. Average FPL, I know. I explained to you guys though. I explained the reasoning. Like, makes sense. I'm bringing Salah in for 2 home fixtures and then Southampton. I'm an Erling Haaland hater at heart. Lewis starts, says Dylan. Is this true? Sheep. Chewy. Come on, Chewy. You're familiar with my game. You are familiar with my game. I feel like you would have told us Kyle Walker starts if he knew. So travels is like, you know, if we read between the lines, kind of. In your opinion, Foden to Salah -4. If you're going to captain him. Best wildcard recommendations do you have? Man, wildcard is hard this week. But yeah, what you mentioned, I would go Salah, Saka, Palmer. Your team, Choi. Sorry, Chica. Here. Choi, Garnacho or Brendan Johnson, please, boss. This week, or next week. This week, either. I think they're equal options. Tony confirmed Leo starts on his Patreon. Fair. Thanks, Tony. I'm unfortunately don't have money to give you for that information. And I did the same moves in -4. What do you think? Sure. 240 people in here. Hit that like button for me, please. I don't know if we're after getting past 150 likes, but that is the goal. So we're locked in. Again, let me just reiterate again. I done it because what it lets me do next week. So this is you're meant to be Kuna. Next week, again, we have Southampton at home. Lovely fixture. We've also got Mo Salah. It looks good. I think I'll be so, what I really like about not owning Erling Haaland, of course, we've done it for, 30 game weeks last year. was the fact that I couldn't put the armband on him. And now, when I get to a week like next week, game week 11, I can put the armband on Isaac, Solanke, Garnacho if I'm bold. You know what I mean? It's a bit more spice. Whereas if I had Haaland this week and didn't have Salah, I would just default to Haaland, which is boring as fuck. Like, so yeah, there it is, lads. Hope you enjoyed another stream. If you want to kick about, feel free. If you're going to leave, hit that like button. I'll still answer as many of your questions before the deadline. I know there's like 4 minutes left. Watkins, keep or sell? Keep. Not starting 8 Nori? No, I'm not. I refuse. Wissa or Havertz? Havertz. Saka or Son? This week, Sonny. Rogers or Solanke? Solanke easily, Dylan. Easy. Start Semenyo or Evan Nilsson? That's a tough one, but Semenyo. Show final team. Team is right in front of you. Do we have any Arsenal Newcastle team leaks? No. Just threw up a little bit in my mouth when you made those transfers. No worries, man. I got you. Let's do a little scroll. See if we miss something. Yeah, very popular one this week. Kuna and Salah. Guardiola benched his Akash. I don't know where you're getting this from, but let me know. Quote someone. Give me a bit of some sort of reason to believe it. Hello, Choi. Saka or Son? For me, Son. Ipswich at home is a deadly fixture next week. And one that is going to be overlooked. I can't seem to get to him next week. Is this a fake Tony? It is a fake Tony. Is this fake Tony? It's fake Tony. Okay. Who was going around making fake Tonys like? That's crazy. Crazy work. Hello, Choi. Ainori, Ainori. Any team news? Nope. Ainori. I'll be starting Ainori. Wissa or Havertz? Let me refresh to make sure I'm locked in. My captaincy armband is on Mo, the absolute king. Happy to get rid of Haaland, lads. We're back. We're so back. Am I happy starting Mikalenko away to Southampton? Not necessarily, but I think it's the right thing to do. I really do think it's the right thing to do. Captain Salah or Palmer? I'm on Salah, so I can't tell you anyone else really. Boona doing Boona things, innit? Chewy, just the least surprising thing ever, like. Will you sell Havertz soon? Scrolling Twitter is dangerous, absolutely. It's so dangerous, man. But I don't really care. Like, it is what it is. I think everyone's Twitter feed is just the same. Is Gabriel starting? I don't know. Will you sell Havertz soon? I think I might be selling him next week. Bench 1, Gabriel Lewis, 8 Nori, Dallo. Probably Dallo. Hello, Choi. Saka or Son? Son. Again, in the long term, you will want Saka though. So, it really depends if that transfer is worth holding on to. Let me quickly screenshot my team before I forget. Eight Nori assist incoming. Yeah, probably won't be surprised, but Everton versus these bottom half teams. Look, the numbers are decent in recent weeks as well. That's another nice fixture for him. Porro or Gabriel Shy? This week, I would just play Porro because you know he's going to get 70 plus minutes. I checked it for you, Roger. Roger, you dirty. We have about 1 minute until the deadline is over. I assume you can't get your questions in. Another amazing stream, by the way. I appreciate all of you for joining me. As usual, game week 10, 28 game weeks left. Hopefully this is a week where we can see another big green arrow. My transfers in recent weeks have been phenomenal. Hopefully we can stay on this wavelength. Of course, we'll have one free transfer to use next week with 1.3 million in the bank. Palmer and Mbeumo captain. Palmer. Jose Javier says Mikalenko or Gabi. Has to be Mikalenko, I think. Again, it probably has to be Mikalenko. Okay. We're going to call it there, lads. Thanks, everyone. If you're going to leave, hit that like button. We'll have a video, team selection video, maybe early thoughts come out during the week. Again, I apologize for maybe the lack of videos, I want to say. I'll always be doing the stream, but the videos are hard for me to do with the amount of work I'm doing in college. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I will see you in the next.